Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my 2024 reading recap. I read 99 books in 2024, don't even mention it. I'm so mad I didn't get to 100. I'd rather have read like 90 or 95 than 99. Also, before I forget, I actually started a book talk account, so if you want to follow me there, I'll put the ad on the screen, just because whenever I posted book content on my main, it hasn't done very well, so I thought make its own account. So I'm going to quick fire through because if I talk in depth about 99 books ever, so I'll tell you what it is. I won't tell you the author because I don't want to mispronounce anything, but I'll make sure it's written on the screen and I'll tell you some tropes so that you can kind of decide, and also why I rated it, obviously. So I need to take the thumbnail. I'm going to do it right now before I forget, so give me a second, then I'll be back to you. I also got all my physical books to show you. Most books were read on my Kindle, my beloved Kindle. I love it so much because I have Kindle Unlimited. Although I stopped Kindle Unlimited around exam time and then I didn't get it back till about September because I was reading less, so I then was getting through a lot of my physical TBR and books I'd bought on my Kindle. The first book that I read in 2024 was Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. I gave this one a 4-star, but I think it was about 3.5 stars. It was okay. It's by Talia Hibbert and she's the one that wrote Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which I did not like, so I'm not too... I don't know. I don't think I'll read another book by her, but it was good. It was a fine start. The next book was Heartstopper Volume 5. This is the only Heartstopper book that I have in physical copy because it was cheaper to get them on my Kindle. 5 stars. Love it. It's the 5th book, so if you haven't read it, brief synopsis. Charlie and Nick meet in school. Yeah, it's just cute. Really, I was on a kick of physical books at the start of the year because the third book that I read is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood, and I gave this one a 4-star. It's workplace romance. It's women in STEM, as are all of her books. So like STEM, romance, forced proximity, enemies to lovers. Perfect. Next, I read The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. I can see it on my bookshelf right now, but it's at the bottom of a pile, so I can't go to get it out. But Christina Lauren, one of my favourite authors ever. That might be the only Christina Lauren book I read this year. I was on a kick like 2022 of reading all of their books. Gave this one 4 stars. It's enemies to lovers, workplace, forced proximity. Next is A Brush with Love. I gave this one 3 stars. They meet at dentistry school and kind of go from there. It's quite cute, but honestly forgettable. I just had to read the blurb to find out what it was about. Then I read Role Playing, and this was my first DNF. I gave it 0 stars. But I think with me, just so you know, some books included in my 99 are DNFs. If I spend more than 2 days or more reading it, but I decide to DNF it, then I will include it in my reading goal because I spent time. If I start a book and that same day I decide to DNF it, I'm not going to include it because I don't know. That's just how I do it. Do whatever you want. And then I read, I'm just checking my computer to see what the series is called, The Improbable Meet Cute. This was a series of short stories that were available on Kindle Unlimited, I believe, around at the end of January. So I think it was for Valentine's Day, but they released them a bit early. So quick fire. The Exception to the Rule by Christina Lauren. West Wing Man Ever by Abby Jimenez. Rosie and the Dreamboat by Sally Thorne. Drop, Cover and Hold On by Jasmine Gowley. And With Any Luck by Ashley Poston. Oh, and there's a 6th one, Royal Valentine by Sarah Wilson. After that, I read Behind the Net. This is a series on Kindle Unlimited. I think I read the next book in the series. Yeah, it's part of the Vancouver Storm series. It's a hockey romance. So Behind the Net is forced proximity, workplace. The Fake Out is enemies to lovers, fake dating. I gave both of those 4 stars, by the way. And I didn't even tell you about the short stories. I gave them 3 or 4 stars each. Next is Offside Hearts, and I gave this one 4 stars. And it's also on Kindle Unlimited. It's a hockey romance, again, forced proximity, workplace. It's such like a classic book trope, and I'll eat it up every time. Then I read Never Lie by Frida McFadden. This was my first Frida McFadden book. Oh my god, and I gave it 5 stars. If you haven't read Frida McFadden's books, you need to. And Never Lie is one of my highest rated ones. Basically, a couple go to look at a house that they want to purchase, and I'm pretty sure there's a snowstorm, so they've kind of let themselves in to wait for the person that's going to show them around. And it's a house that used to be lived in by a psychologist, and they find lots of tapes from her, I was going to say interviews, but not, like her therapy sessions, I guess, and they start listening to them. Then I was on a little Frida McFadden kick because I read The Housemaid and The Housemaid Secret. Gave The Housemaid 4.5 stars and The Housemaid Secret just a 4 stars. But all these Frida McFadden books are on Kindle Unlimited, but The Housemaid and The Housemaid Secret, basically the main character is a housemaid, and there's always funny things going on in Frida books, so I don't want to be too specific. Then I read Those Three Little Words. I gave this 2 stars. I actually didn't add any tropes on Goodreads because it was clearly bad. I only gave it 2 stars, so I actually don't know what it's about, but I think I finished it because I didn't tag it as DNF, so maybe I didn't finish it. Next, I read Long Time Dead. I believe this was a Amazon first reads, so if you're a Prime, I think it's if you're a Prime member, you get to pick 1, sometimes 2 new releases in a month for free. So it's books that are going to be released the month after that, and this was one of them. It's a mystery. It's really good. I gave it 4 stars. Then I read Honeymoon for One, which I gave 3 stars to. In it, the main character goes on a cruise, and it was meant to be for her honeymoon, but she goes on her own. It was okay. Then I read Make Me Lose. I gave this one 4 stars. It's childhood best friends, enemies to lovers, second chance, small town. It was pretty good. Then Beach House Summer, which I also gave it 4 stars to. It's got the trope of like one of us is famous, found family, small town, and obviously a summer romance. Beach House Summer, kind of in the name. Then All the Little Raindrops by Mia Sheridan. I also gave 4 stars to. This one is a mystery thriller, and it's also on Kindle Unlimited, and 2 teens are abducted and they are kind of kept in cages and they have to communicate with each other, and there's cameras and people like betting on it. It's kind of an odd world and they've got to try and get out. Back to the physical books, I read Meet Cute. This was so cute. It's One of Us is Famous. It's between the main character and her childhood celebrity crush. It's enemies to lovers, forced proximity, kind of single parent because the male main character is having to look after his younger sister, so single parent in that sense. Obviously not the actual parent, but stepping into the role. Then Rules of Summer, I gave this one 5 stars. Loved it. Oh, I also gave Meet Cute 5 stars. I forgot to tell you that. 5 stars. It's a summer book. The main character goes to live in the house of a very rich family. Kind of, her auntie is like the maid, the other, and she kind of goes to help with that. Then one last stop, this book has been through where I read it on holiday when the weather was so bad, and then my mum read it right after, so it was in the sun a lot. It's so ruined. This is kind of paranormally. One of the main characters is stuck on the New York subway and the other one sees her. Then I read Dreamland Billionaires series. The first 2 books. I've still not read the 3rd one, but The Fine Print is the first one. I also gave them both 5 stars. And it's Enemies to Lovers, Grumpy Sunshine, Workplace, and then Billionaires because Dreamland Billionaires. And the second one, Fake Dating, Forced Proximity, Workplace, again. Then I read The X Talk. This is Enemies to Lovers, Fake Dating, Forced Proximity, Workplace. They host a radio show. Then I read Girl Missing. It's been 15 years since the main character's daughter went missing from school, and she went missing with one of her friends, but the friend came back, so she's now returned back to the town where it happened and she's still searching for answers. Oh, I forgot. She goes back to the town because human remains are found in the school where she went missing, so she goes back because she thinks it's her daughter. Then I read, spoiler alert, DNF this, 1 star. It's awful. I hated it. Then I read Deeper Than the Dead. I believe this was another Amazon first choice. I gave this one 4 stars. It's a mystery thriller. The good main character returns home. She stumbles upon the cave in the back garden and she finds the remains of her stepmother. Goes from there. Then I read Summer Ever After and I gave it 4 stars. It's Forced Proximity, Second Chance, Summer, obviously, Workplace. Then I read Dating Dr. Dill. I purchased this book on my Kindle so long ago and I finally read it. It was okay. I gave it 3 stars. Then I read The American Roommate Experiment, which I think I do have on my bookshelf, but I forgot to get it for you, but whatever. This is Fake Dating, Forced Proximity, Friends to Lovers. It's in the same series that the Spanish Love Deception is in. Then Did I Mention I Love You? This is a step brother romance, so I was really excited to read it, but it's really odd, so no thank you. Then I read The Roommate. I was really excited about this book, but it was not good. I gave it 2 stars. Then I read You Shouldn't Be Here, which I gave 3 stars to. This is another mystery thriller. I believe it was another Amazon first choice. I love to get mystery and thrillers from Amazon first choice because they never have very good romance selections, but the mystery and thrillers are always pretty good. And in the story there's a girl who is hearing voices in her house, and so it's kind of 2 point of views, and there's also a new teacher who has just moved to town and I believe she finds a dead body in a house or something like that. And I read Strangers We Know and I gave this one 4 stars. Another mystery and thriller. The main character was adopted when she was like a day old and she finds out that she has an illness and she doesn't know much about it, so she tries to go back in her lineage and find out who her ancestors are so she can can get answers about what it is, because the doctors don't have any answers. And so she goes to this small town where her blood family are from, and lots of different twists and turns. And I read The Graham Effect, which is a spin-off in the off-campus series. So good. 5 stars. Immediately 5 stars. They are both hockey players and I loved it. Then I read the whole off-campus series because that just really sparked my love for it again. So I read all 4 original books plus The Legacy, which was the 5th one, which I'd never read before. These were all rereads and I did vlog it on my YouTube. I'll put the link in the little corner. Which corner is it? This corner, I think. Yeah, but it was good. They're either 4 or 5 stars for me. Sports, romances, hockey. So yeah, but The Legacy wasn't as good. I marked it as 4 stars, but it was actually like a 3.5. So I'm just changing it now. When I read The Housemaid, it's watched by Freida McFadden. This is the 3rd book in the Housemaid series. It came out after I read the first 2 because that's why I hadn't read them all together. Again, on Kindle Unlimited. This one wasn't as good as the first ones, but it's again about the same housemaid, but she isn't actually the housemaid in this one. She's just kind of her life. Then I read The Locked Door, again Freida McFadden. Oh, it's because I remember now I did a week reading Freida McFadden books. Again, I'll link it if you want to watch that. But this one was 5 stars. All on Kindle Unlimited, all psychological thrillers. But also, like, the sound of a psychological thriller doesn't sound good. Also, I don't think that The Housemaid was my first, because I'm just thinking I read Ward D and I didn't read that this year because I would have said it. So actually, yeah, I completely lied to you when I said that I started reading Freida this year. Sorry. It was a big part lie because I didn't. I read The Wife Upstairs and Ward D before, so sorry. Then I read The Inmate. I gave that one 4 stars. And then The Teacher, I gave that one 4 stars. They're all so good. I think I honestly recommend you read any Freida book. So if you haven't, just read the blurb of a few, see what you like the sound of. And then I read The Perfect Son. I don't think The Perfect Son was included in the reading challenge because I only did it for a week, but I then read The Perfect Son as well and it was really good. Then a little change, I read The Sin Bin, DNF'd it. I gave it 1 stars. It is on Kindle Unlimited. Then I started the Windy City series and I read all the books that are out apart from the 5th one. I can't wait. The first one, Mile High, I gave 4.5 stars. It's dual POV, enemies to lovers, sports romance, workplace, forced proximity. Then I read The Right Move and this one is my favourite in the series. This one was 5 stars. It's again forced proximity. They have to live together. It's the best friend and brother of the female main character in the first book. It's very much Grumpy Sunshine, again a sports romance. All the books in this series are sports romance, but they're not all the same sport. So like with the off-campus series, it's all hockey. This one, it's a friend group who are, a few of them play different sports. Like a few, it's the same sport, but not all of them. Then the next one was Caught Up. I gave this one 4 stars. It's again forced proximity. It's found family. They're all kind of found family. Single parent. So good, don't even. And then Play Along. This one's enemies to lovers. Like, he falls first and very hard. Forced proximity, workplace romance, but also kind of marriage of convenience because they get married in Vegas and then they stay married. Then I read the Chestnut Springs series. I also read literally all of Elsie Silver's books this year, so get ready. So they're all cowboy romances. They're all centered around the Eaton family. I'm just going to tell you the names because I've been speaking way too long already. So Flawless was 4 stars. Heartless was 4 stars. Powerless was 5 stars. Reckless was 4 stars. And Hopeless was 4 stars. Then I read the Rose Hill series, which is the spin-off of the Chestnut Springs series. It's set in another small town. It's all single dad romances. So the first one was Wild Love. I gave this one 4 stars. And then the second one was Wild Eyes. I gave this one 4.5. This is One of Us is Famous, but in a small town, single dad. So good. And that series is ongoing. Then I read Say You Swear. So I was going to DNF this book. I actually was going on to Goodreads to DNF it. And then I saw the reviews and I was like, how is this book rated so highly? I'm not enjoying it so far. I kept reading it. Oh my God. Tears streaming down my face. The Book Boyfriend. I think he wins the award this year. Noah. You have my heart. And that was on Kindle Unlimited. Also, all the Elsie Silver books were on Kindle Unlimited and the Windy City series. Sorry, I forgot to tell you. So I thought Say You Swear is such a good book. Let's read the next one in the series. So bad. So bad. Well, actually, I say so bad. It was 3 stars. I really didn't like it. It took me a while to read it. Then I read the Magnolia Parks series. So this, for anyone who's not read it and wants to read it, it's kind of Gossip Girl-esque but set in London, in the sense that like they're being followed by paparazzi. Lots of pictures are being taken of them. They're being posted online. So there's not something like Gossip Girl as in Gossip Girl itself, the website thing, but they're famous, everyone knows who they are type of thing. And also there's 2 timelines, so you either have a Magnolia Parks book or a Daisy Hates book. So, and the Daisy Hates books are slightly better than the Magnolia Parks ones, so there's kind of 2 different timelines. So you'll read book 1, that's Magnolia's point of view, then book 2 is telling kind of the same story but in Daisy's point of view. I really prefer the Daisy one. Julian, yeah. So I'll just quick fire all my ratings. Magnolia Parks was 4 stars, Daisy Hates was 4 stars as well, Magnolia Parks A Long Way Home was 4.5 stars, Daisy Hates The Great Undoing 5 stars, Magnolia Parks Into the Dark 4 stars. Don't even, oh my god, I love them so much. Then I was on the Christmas kick, completely switching it up. I read A Very Bossy Christmas, and I actually kind of went in depth about the Christmas books that I read, so I'm just gonna fire through them and just tell you my ratings. If you want to hear about those books, it's in a different video. So I gave that one 3 stars. Then I read 'Tis the Season for Revenge, I gave this one 4 stars. Then the Christmas book hunt, I gave this one 3 stars, but probably more like 2.75. It wasn't very good. Then I read the Under the Mistletoe collection, and this was a series of short stories, Christmas ones, that were on Kindle Unlimited. So I read, Cruel Winter Review, I gave 4 stars, and it would have been honestly a 5 stars if it was a long book. Then Merry Ever After, I gave 1 star. All by My Elf, 2 stars. Merriment and Mayhem, 4 stars. And Only Santa's in the Building, 3 stars. Then I read the Gold Rush Ranch series. So I actually started with Out the Gate, which is the novella, because that is what you're meant to read first, I believe. But on Goodreads it says that's book 1.5, but it made sense to me when I was then reading it to read it first. So I gave Out of the Gate 3 stars. This is actually kind of, Chestnut Springs is a spin-off of this series because Violet is the sister of a lot of the boys in the Chestnut Springs series. So, and these books were released first. So if you want to read it in order, you do not have to by any means read this series then, because there was a feature in these guys in the Chestnut Springs books. I remember hearing about it and I wish that I'd read these before, because then I'd know who they are and I'd get it, but I don't get it. I have to reread them all. So Out of the Gate, I gave this one 3 stars. Again, Kindle Unlimited. Actually no, I don't think Out the Gate was Kindle Unlimited. The other ones are though. So Off to the Races, I gave 4 stars, and then I took a break from reading that series and I read My December Darling, which I gave 3 stars to, and this one was on Kindle Unlimited. Then I read Set the Record Straight and I gave this one 4 stars. It was really cute. Again, Kindle Unlimited by Hannah Bone Young, which is the author of Icebreaker. Then I read The Gift by Frida McFadden. So bad, do not read it. It's a novella. It was just awful. I gave it 2 stars. Then I read Holiday Romance, which I gave 4 stars to. I'd actually already read the second book in the series, but not the first one. I don't know why. I never read the first one. It was really cute. Kindle Unlimited again. Then I read The Housemaids Wedding. Honestly, don't read that book. It was a waste of time. It was a quick read, but it was kind of pointless. Then I read The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden, which was good. Yeah, it was good. It wasn't one of her best books, but it was really good. Still 4 stars. Then back to the Gold Rush Ranch series, I read A Photo Finish, which I gave 4 stars, and The Front Runner, which I gave 4.25 stars to. So good. And A False Start, which I gave 4.5. These are again cowboy romances, small town, and also they can be read as standalones. It's an interconnected series, so if you only like the sound of one, you don't have to read all of them. Then I read The Sweetest Oblivion. This was a mafia dark romance. It was quite good, but I don't want to read the series, at least right now. I might continue it in the future, but probably not. I gave this one 4 stars. Like, it was good, but it was kind of a slow read, honestly. Then I read The Ex by Frida McFadden. This one, she loves a plot twist, and this one was such a big plot twist that then it was so big that it was kind of confusing. So yeah, I don't know. I think we needed a bit more clues in it to make it be less shocking, because obviously we want a shocking one, but this was shocking in the sense that it kind of, you were like, that doesn't make any sense. Then I read the Dream Harbour series. So first was The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and this is very much like it was described as Gilmore Girls, so cozy, which it is. Very lots of spice scenes though. So this one was 3.5 stars. It's Grumpy Sunshine, small town. Then next is the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. This one's kind of False Proximity. Then The Christmas Tree Farm, a Christmassy themed one. And only the first book in this series is on Kindle Unlimited. The other 2 I think were 99p each, so that's why I bought them. And Crashing Into Love. This was a unboxing day. There was a Stuff Your Kindle day, so this one was one of the free books, and I gave it a 3 stars. It was okay. It was a novella. It's set in Alaska, which I'd never read before. Then I read Year Nuisance, and this series is going to pop up later. So this is the 4th book, again in the Stuff Your Kindle day. And they're all under 200 pages, the series, and I quite like the series. It's giving, the town's giving Gilmore Girls, but it's got mystery with it, so it's quite good. It's all this town that they live in are big on celebrating holidays, so each holiday, like each book, is designated a different holiday and a murder takes place on it. It's getting to the point where it's slightly repetitive, but decent books. They've all been 3 stars, but I'm really enjoying reading them. I don't know, they're kind of addictive, so even though they're not that good, I keep wanting to read them. I'm on the 6th one now, but that one was 3 stars, and all of them are on Kindle Unlimited, so even though that one was free to buy, it is on Kindle Unlimited, and they're all mysteries. And then I read Follow Your Dreams, which is kind of giving the Dream Harbour series but less spice almost, and kind of better. It was really cute. It was again giving Gilmore Girls vibes, just like small town, but it was a short story, and there was quite a big jump. There was a 6-week jump between when they like started meeting each other and when they started to get together, so it meant that it kind of probably would have felt like a slow burn-ish if we'd got more, because I think the book was about 200 pages. If it had been 300 pages, I think I'd have enjoyed it more because the pining would have been there, but it was still really good. I gave it 3 stars, but honestly it could have been a 4 if we'd had a bit of a longer book for more pining, because like it didn't happen too fast for the length of the book. Oh my god, also I forgot to say, Crashing Into Love is all set in one day. That one's very insta love. And then for the rest of the year, I read Fully Felony and Mother's Day Murder. They were the last 2 books, and they were again in that series that I mentioned before. So they were the 99 books. My legs are really aching. I hope I covered all of them. I think I did. If I didn't, I'm so sorry. I did. Goodreads said I read 99, so I'm choosing to believe it. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If there are any other book videos you want to see specifically, please let me know, because I do want to keep posting book content. I really enjoy it. So yeah, I am going to film my 25 books I want to read in 2025, but also I'm going to get into fantasy this year, because as you'll be able to tell, I read romance, thrillers and mysteries this year, which I love all those books, but I want to get into fantasy because there are so many good books that have been recommended to me. I say good, I don't know if they're good, but they sound really good, so I bought quite a few. That on the way and in boxes. I'm going to do the haul on my book talk, I think, so check that out. But that's it. I love you. Goodbye.